Stressful part of the whole process is where am I clicking and resume recording. Did I get everything right, Jan?
It looks good. Let me just check on YouTube. Yes, all good. We're live.
Super. All right, everyone. Welcome to this next 9x Live workshop. Today, we're going to talk about several favorite topics. We have many favorite topics at 9x. GTM is one of them, obviously, because you can do a ton of things with AI and automation in that area. Airtop, obviously, with today's guest is going to be front and center. It's cutting edge technology. I think it's a tool that deserves more attention, and we have the privilege and luxury to have Amir today that is going to showcase the tool, and n8n as well, which is one of the many automation platforms that yeah we enjoy using and showcasing. So welcome. I will briefly bother you with brief introduction, talk brief browser agents, and then we'll hand over to Amir. We'll cover briefly what is Airtop, and most importantly, we're going to see what you can do with Airtop and n8n if you work in marketing and if you want to automate your GTM processes. All right. So let's start with very short minutes of advertising. So who we are, we're 9x. We are building your one-stop shop to learn AI and automation. We believe AI and automation skills are going to be the most important skills to learn in the very near future. And we are on a mission to deliver you those skills on a silver platter. We offer trainings, we offer workshops, async courses, all the way down to custom cohort programs for companies. You can see some of our happy customers here. Next week, we'll have another workshop. This time I'll be alone, but I'm not really alone because I'll be with my favorite tool or one of my all-time favorite tools, Airtable. And actually, when I think about it, we haven't done yet a workshop on Airtable yet, a 9x Live workshop on Airtable. That's a shame. We're going to correct that next week. If you want to see what is possible with Airtable AI, I will be the master of ceremony, the guest and the host at the same time, and we'll play around with this feature from Airtable, which allows you to do plenty of interesting things. You can register on the link that we'll provide in the chat. Last slide of promotion. On the paid side, we love doing things for free. We also need to finance what we do. We have one course called the AI and Automation Master that teaches you everything we know. It's about 100 hours of course content, and in it you will learn how to work with APIs, how to work with databases, how to prompt, to create workflows, to build agents. This also gives you access to all the live workshops that we do. So this one is free. There's many workshops that we do at the moment that are free. There are also 9x Live workshops that are paid. So if you get the course, you will have access and basically get all the workshops pushed to you. And additionally, we have a Slack community where you can ask your questions and lifetime access to everything we create in the future. So aka new lessons and new courses. End of promotion. Welcome, Ami.
Thank
We're
you
quite
so much.
excited. Like, it's really not. That's the most important part is our guest today. I hope I didn't take too much time. So maybe you can say a few words about yourself,
All
what
good.
he's doing, and then I'll briefly talk about browser agents, and then you'll correct me probably because you're the expert in that area.
Sounds good. I'm excited to be here. Thank you so much, Alex, for the invitation. I love the work that you do to advance automation in the world. My name is Amir Ashkenazi. I'm a serial entrepreneur. Airtop is my sixth company. Before that, I started companies in e-commerce, AI, advertising, HR tech. Overall, at one IPO and three acquisitions. So very happy to be here. More specifically, because the two most successful companies, shopping.com and Adapt TV, one was in web automation and the other one was in marketing. So I think I'm qualified to talk here. And I'm gonna show you what I did for Airtop. This is all tested on our own marketing. It's not some sales pitch of things you can do. It's all
not the
agents
workflow
that
bro. It's
currently
not the
work for you.
workflow bro post. This is not a fake n8n workflow with
This is
connected videos. It's gonna work.
not all real. We're gonna show it all.
Crazy. Wow. Okay. Maybe we'll briefly talk about browser agents. That is the specificity with Airtop. For me, that is at the moment that's the platform I recommend if you want to build browser agents. But I think the audience doesn't necessarily know what we mean by that. So I have two slides, and then I stop talking, I promise. So what are browser agents? For those of you who looked at the announcement yesterday from like the different launches from Google during I/O, there were a couple of capabilities from Gemini, agentic capabilities to perform actions in the browser. An agent or browser agent is a system that is going to interact with the web autonomously. So it's not an agent that's going to provide knowledge, provide answers. It's going to perform tasks like navigating, entering data on websites, filling forms for you, scraping pages, just like a human user would. And you will see in Airtop, it's very concrete because we can see the agent actually clicking and performing those actions. And this is what we configure in the platform, among others. What can browser agents do? They can act like automated assistants that use a web browser to perform a task on your behalf, which means they can navigate, so they can move through websites, they can click links, they can go to specific pages, they can then see, they can at all times take a capture of the screen. There's someone maybe that needs to be muted. They then can take a screenshot of the screen and show or describe what they see, recognize the different elements there. They can act, they can click buttons on our behalf, they can fill out forms, they can interact with elements. They can log in, and Airtop can do that, and that's awesome. It's amazing because there are bazillions of use cases. If you work in automation or if you're building automations, you usually use APIs. But when the tool doesn't have an API, you have zero options. You need to log in and you need to do things manually. With browser agents, you can circumvent that. You can get an Airtop agent, log in the application that doesn't have an API, and perform the actions that you used to do manually. And finally, they can extract information. They're very good at that once they're on a page. If you want to get me the invoice number and return it, that's a piece of cake for these agents. And that's all I had for now. Amir, the stage is yours.
Can I share my
I
screen?
did it justice. Yes, for sure. And share. Much better with automation tools. I'm off now, so you should. I need to make you guests.
I think so.
Yeah.
Host maybe. Yeah.
There we go.
Perfect. Okay. Yeah, that's better. Thank you.
Before you start, there's already a question from Andreas. Is it possible for them to get past CAPTCHAs?
Here is the answer. Can you see the answer?
Yeah, I can see CAPTCHAs. So...
Yes, it's a checkbox away from you. You just check CAPTCHA solving on, and it does. But first of all, welcome everybody. I'm so excited to have all of you here. Oh, yeah. Okay. My goal for today is to make it a very beneficial session for you. My goal is that by the end of this session, you will have concrete ideas of how to really scale your marketing without scaling headcount. How to grow revenue and customers and your impact in the world without growing the team size by deploying agents that will do work for you. And the focus is on really simple agents. Like you see on the web, all of those thousand nodes kind of agents and so on. This is not the approach. I think that the right approach is simple building blocks, and we're going to talk about this and we're going to demo this. So please feel free to make it interactive. If you have a question, Alex promised to monitor the chat for me. Just
People are tired of the workflow bros already. People are tired of the 65 module branches. So am I.
exactly. It's impossible. Okay, so what is Airtop? Airtop is a platform that allows you to automate anything humans can do online, and with just natural language, with just words on any site, including those that require authentication. So the two things that we're most proud of is the natural language instructions that you can give the agent, and the second thing is the authentication, the way we let you do it pretty much on any site. Yes, we solve CAPTCHAs. Yes, we're SOC 2 Type 2 compliant. Yes, we're EPA compliant. And we work with 4 different platforms right now. TypeScript, Python, Make, and n8n. 5th one will be announced very soon. And the way you should think about this is like, imagine that you had unlimited amount of time and a browser. Imagine that you cloned yourself, Maxi, and you have unlimited amount of time. What would you do with this? Like, what would you ask your clone with the browser to do for you? And, let's jump too many. Yeah, controlling of the DAC here is important. Okay, so we spoke about authentication. This is one of the benefits of Airtop. We allow you to work on authenticated site just by logging in once. So if you want to allow the agent to do work on your behalf on a site, you just have to log in once in Airtop profiles and click finish. And once you click finish, you basically have a profile that is just like the profile on your laptop that is constantly logged in and allows the agent to do things on your behalf. It's really simple. It's really powerful. You do it once, and from that moment on, you can let the agent use this resource. So you will see a lot of automations here that are using sites that require authentication, and you should always go back to the profile. Oh, this is how he's doing it. It does not require any additional coding or anything else. It's just using the Airtop profile to do it. By the way, this is why the company is called Airtop. You have a desktop, you have a laptop, and now you have Airtop. It's your computer in the sky. And just like you don't log in on your computer to all of the services every day, the same thing is with your computer in the sky. Okay, so what can you do with Airtop? The range of use cases is very wide. We're going to focus today on marketing, RevOps, a little bit of sales, but there is more. People are doing RPA and UX testing and web scraping, but we're not going to touch on all of those today.
I think there's a big case I can mention here that I see in larger companies. If anyone's working at a scale up, we work with a few now, and we see different use cases as with smaller companies. You always have old systems where things need to be logged, and these old systems don't have an API, or it's extremely difficult to do any kind of automation the regular way. And a solution like Airtop is perfect for that.
Yeah, thank you, Alex. Let's go to the reason we're all here today: how to automate marketing and go to market. So if you think about it from an eye level, marketing is really simple. All you have to do is find the right person at the right time and deliver the right message. What can be more simple than that? So it's simple, but definitely not easy, especially as you want to do it in scale and you want to do it with accuracy. And I think if you get one of those wrong, basically your marketing is not working. When you get all of them right, it's like a well-oiled machine. And what we're going to do today, we're going to break each one of those and build the systems that allow you to achieve the goal. And those are things that can be connected. So let's talk about finding first the right person. So there is a very important concept. It's called the ideal customer profile. And if you're not familiar with this, please go and read about it because it's very essential for your marketing effort. It's basically says you need to know who your customer is. You need to be able to describe it. You need to be able to identify it. Because if you cannot recognize the ideal customer, how will you find one? How will you find your next best customers if you cannot do it? So the first automation that we are going to show is an ICP agent that, using few examples of customer, is giving you this thing that you need. The second thing is, given the definition of ICP, you'll see things are built one on top of another. Now that you have the ICP definition, you can calculate ICP score for every person. We're going to talk about this. And then you can use the same ICP definition to expand your pipeline with IICP leads. Okay, so Alex, how is the chat going? The people are fine?
I think they're hypnotized. They're waiting for No.
Okay, I definitely hope so. Okay, so here's the first one, the ICP agent, and honestly, one of my favorites. I have a few favorites here. There, you'll see. So this one is taking a few examples of your best customers, and by the way, they don't have to be your real best customer. It's better if they are, because we know it's more accurate. But you can take any set of profiles of people, fit it into this machine, and what comes out is a very detailed definition of your ideal customer. This kind of exercise used to take hundreds of thousands of dollars from McKinsey and a 6 months research, and it's just amazing what AI can do. But instead of talking about this, maybe I'll show you this live. So all of those I can show live, just please feel free to ask. It sounds, or it looks maybe a little bit complicated, but honestly it's not. Let's break it to the pieces. There's a little bit of documentation here to make it clear. And then all it says is connect the chat window to an AI agent. Give this AI agent the following tools: a brain, memory, and Airtop, which is the gateway of this agent to the web. And then there is a set of instructions. I'll show you the instruction in just a second. But what you give this agent is just a list of LinkedIn profile. And the outcome of this thing, you can see it on the right side, is just a very clear definition of what this, of your ideal customer profile. Maybe we'll see it in a formatted document. This is what it looks like. And it gives you, so I gave there Max and Nate, to active people in the automation scene. And what you're going to see is that AI really captured like who those people are, what they care about, what their attributes, what the likely job titles of people like this, the professional background, the education background, really a very deep understanding. Why it doesn't go any farther? It is. And it's going to provide you two more things. By the way, even in the psychographic, like what are the pain points? What are they trying to solve? What are the goals and so on? And it will provide you with two more very important things. So one is the ICP scoring methodology, because it's not a document that you just want to read before you go to sleep. It's actually a recipe that you want to use to find more customers. So for this, we need a clear function that we can deploy and calculate the ICP score for any person we see in an event, in LinkedIn, in real life, in meetings. It doesn't matter where the lead is coming from. So what you can see is that it provides like a detailed definition of the scoring methodology. And one more cool thing that it provides is a way to search for people like this in Google. So remember those two, because we're going to use them in just a minute.
Very cool.
I agree.
There was one question on
Yeah.
whether you will share the templates, and Dennis already answered that this template is free on your website.
That is correct. Under the automation section, I think there is one or two still missing, and then there will be uploaded. But anyway, it's all going to be available, and contact me if you can find it. So this is an important building block, and again, it's important to start with the basic before we build on top, because you'll see others that are built on top of this. For example, now we have the ICP definition. We want to calculate the ICP score for anyone before we do cold outreach, for inbound leads, in the onboarding process. Like, we want to know who are those people. If we don't know the how good of a customer they are, we don't know how to allocate our time. And then it's just chaos. And you need to be very focused in your time on the best opportunities. So this is an automation that is, again, very simple, but it does something very magical. It takes a person's email or LinkedIn profile and gives you back the ICP score. So if you want, let's dive deep into this one. So a little bit on the tactical side, you'll see many times that we allow multiple entry points to the automation. So you can provide the input parameter through a form if you just want to test a person, or through or by running it from another workflow. And this is extremely useful because then you can reuse the same automations in many different ways. And I highly recommend doing this for your automations. So honestly, the full automation is just one Airtop node here. And all of the magic is in this prompt. And what you see here is a prompt that it says, okay, give me all of this information about the person from the page and do one more thing. Remember the ICP score definition? You just copy it and paste it here, and it will calculate the ICP score for any given person. Let's maybe go to one of the previous executions.
So in the same prompt, you have data extraction. Well, you are basically asking Airtop to look for all the data points that are used to calculate the scoring, and then you calculate the scoring as per the ICP scale that you've defined before.
I do. It's just free to get more information with the same call. It's not a must. You can remove that and only get the ICP score.
Okay.
Okay. So here's what the output looks like. It's just information about the person and the ICP score, number of followers, and number of connections. And again, this is a building block for many things that we are going to do in, because, we spoke about the right person, the right time, and the right message. Those are not independent. You really need to overlay those. So you're going to see those objects coming in future automations. Oh, and here is another example of the output, same thing. Okay. Another thing you can do using the ICP agent output is simply to find more people. So you have the ICP definition, you feed it to this agent, and what the agent comes up with is just more people like this. People you don't know, people you've probably never heard of, but are very high ICP based on the definition. And again, this is very useful for expansion. It's very useful for cold outreach. It's very useful for account-based marketing. Like if you want to target specific companies, like what is the persona, but you want to find exactly those people in Microsoft. This is an extremely difficult thing to do if you're not targeted and you don't have a clear definition of the ICP.
Maybe Amir, on this one, on the list builder, I think there's a few people here that have already worked with like in lead gen or done similar exercises. What would you say is the difference between an approach where I leverage Airtop browsing capabilities and let's say a Clay or any service like any data provider? What are the differences so people understand?
Yeah.
I have a company, I already have one contact, maybe it's not the right contact. I should use Airtop because this approach is going to have to yield better results because I'm able to do things I can't do with the other platforms.
Yeah, so one difference is cost. So this is basically searching Google to find the right people, and it's just like extracting those. So first is cost. The other thing is just control. It's your thing. I highly recommend it for things that you need to work in the background on an ongoing basis. Like if you just want to do one thing, one off, there are other options. Our agents are usually are on a schedule or on a trigger, and they work on your behalf in the background. So what I like about this is that you have full control. Like you can literally move things here. You can add verification. You can add ICP scoring here to add the ICP to the list of things. At the end of the day, I think we need to build our own marketing machines, and every company is different. So it gives you both the flexibility and the efficiency to scale your marketing.
That's where what I would mention as well. Typically, you rarely get the bigger the company, if you're on multiple markets, if you are serving customers on multiple continents, it's very rare to have one data provider that gets everything right. So you just depend on the quality of the database. It's variable. I have the feeling also that some providers do a big push certain year, and then the data is not necessarily always up to date. But people who work in lead gen or in CRM operations tend to know that if you're targeting customers in a specific country, maybe you should avoid this provider, that provider. And here, the level playing field is you do a Google search.
Yeah, and there's one really important point is the freshness of data. So when you buy a database, it's always outdated, usually by 6 or 9 months. If freshness of data is important for you, like you need to go to the source in real time and get it. The other thing that you will see in other agents is the ability to interact with this data, basically connect with people, send them messages, do additional research, and so on. Okay, so we've done a lot so far. We know how to find the right person, the ideal customer profile, the ideal customer for us, but this is not enough. Like you probably know it on yourself, like you're not open at all times to a certain sales pitch. There are specific times that you are more open. And if we can identify those specific times for our ICPs, then it will substantially increase the probability of making the sale or getting the user. So we're going to talk about 3 automations that help you to find your ICP at the right time. So the first one is social listeners. There are thousands of conversations going on right now, and this agent will allow you to be in those conversations without spending all of your time, on Twitter or Reddit. The second one, we're going to talk about buying signals. Some of our customers doing really smart things. I'll show you a few examples of how you can identify buying signals that strongly correlates with the need for your product. And the last thing is engagement trackers. So if we cannot find our own customers, let's take the customers of our competitors. It's a bit evil, but that's the most evil thing we're going to do in this session. Okay, so let's start with the social listener, one that I'm using on a regular basis because I don't have time for everything that's going on, especially with AI. Things are moving so quickly. So this allows me to basically monitor conversations across all platforms and focus just on my areas of interest. And not only that, suggest a comment or response to the conversation, a way to get into the conversation with a human in the loop. So I'm very sensitive to all the communication that is going outside. I don't want it to look like an AI. I want it to be just exactly what I want. So I'm not letting it go all the way, although you can remove the human in the loop and just make it automatically participate. And still it improves the efficiency probably 1000x because it just gives you, and I'll show you, the conversations and a suggested response to each conversation. So how does it look in real life? This is my Slack channel. I get an alert like this every time there is a relevant conversation with a suggested reply. Sometimes I choose to use it, sometimes I write my own, and then I reply and click next, and that's it. And it works. So if we'll go and see how it's built, do people want to see how it's built, or it's like, what's your...
I want to see how it's built. Jan, too, John, Jan again. Alex from n8n wants to see how it's built 2 times, 3 times. Yes.
Okay. Okay.
All right.
I don't want to waste your time. It's just like I'm here for you. Okay.
Leave us all the good stuff. Yeah, no.
Okay.
People are interested in seeing that, and And I think also so far the workflows are fairly, there's always details, huh? But they're fairly easy to understand, make sense. And these are things that people could reproduce later on, I think. So it's really good.
Yeah. Okay, so let's look at this one. If you think about what it does, it's really like very simple steps. It's monitor the social network for relevant conversations. Then it calls an AI assistant to generate response, and it asks for approval. And if you approve, it replies to the post automatically. How does it work? So again, you can see the multiple entry points. So I have it on a schedule. I can run it from another process, or I can trigger it with a form. It's all going to, this is pretty much everything. And those are sub workflow, that's true. This is how the building blocks are getting connected. So the first one is monitor X. Let's take a peek at this one. It is basically taking a topic and extracting posts that are relevant to this topic. So we're talking a lot about natural language instructions. This is what it looks like. So once you open the X search results, the instructions is like, this is X search results, extract up to 10 non-sponsored posts in English. For each post, extract the post writer and so on. And also classify posts based on the following categories. And the categories are the areas of interest for me. Anything that is not in these categories, just return NA. And why is it important? Because in the next step, right here, we're simply going to filter everything that is NA, all of the non-relevant posts. And if you wonder what are the other three around it, those are simply create a session, get a machine, create a browser, get a browser, then all of the brain is here, and then end session. You can also do it in one if you'll just choose automatically create session. Two ways of doing that. Okay, so this is getting us relevant posts. The second thing that we want to do is get suggestion for this post. And this is even more simple. You basically asking a custom OpenAI assistant, what is the right comment or reply for this? In just a few minutes, I'll show you how to create your own custom GPT in order to respond to things like that. So this is just going to OpenAI and get suggested response based on your style, your tone of voice, your preferences. And the last thing is this one, where you get a human in the loop on Slack. I love the way n8n is doing human in the loop. It's very simple. You basically put the message here. You put, okay, what are the options for response that you want from the user? So for example, you can skip or you can accept this. And then if you accept this, the last thing is to actually take the action on X, and this agent is doing exactly that. And if you look at what it does, it's exactly what you would expect. It's typing the response. This is typing the response. Here is the text to type. Then it's taking a screenshot just for fun, so you have a record of this, and it's making a click. And you can see that the instructions are very simple. You just make a click on the reply button. So I hope I did not scare you too much. That's maybe the most complex agent that you're going to see today. But the important thing is that you build it block by block, step by step. Don't try to make like an Uber agent that will be your chief marketing officer. Start with those simple ones first.
Amazing. I think it's really like clear how you broke it down. Maybe I'm not sure we've shown already the interface in Airtop where we can see the agent executing actions. We can see the example. I tried posting comments on LinkedIn, and it's a very similar workflow. I think it's something like, so people can see concretely when we trigger an Airtop module, what is happening behind the scenes and how can we configure it?
Yeah. So this is the API playground. It's not where you develop the automation. You develop the automation in your development platform, n8n, Make, Python, or TypeScript. This is where you check, test the prompt and add JSON just to make sure that it works. And then you copy and paste it into your development platform. So what you can see here is that I can type any website. I can use a profile name, so it will start with me logged in. You can also use a proxy and decide, okay, what country you want it from, and also trigger the auto captcha solver. We don't need it for this. And then on the right side, you can see the API endpoints. They're pretty much half and half between extracting information and taking actions on websites. So things like page query, paginated extraction are for getting data from sites, whether they need to click on next or scroll down, they will get you the information. Scrape is just a simple and clean scrape of the website. The others are about taking actions like filling forms, making clicks, types, scrolling, and so on.
There was one question from Jan. By looking at this list, I think it answers the question, but just to confirm, can you take a screenshot of the entire page?
Yeah.
Can
So there is,
okay.
Yeah, there are a few more API endpoints that do not appear because they don't make so much sense in the playground, including file upload, file download, and the screenshot.
Okay, amazing.
Okay.
We can spy on our competition all day long.
Exactly.
That's perfect.
Okay, we'll go back to this. This is the human in the loop. Let's talk about buying signals. So this is very different from one company to another. But in many cases, you can find triggers that strongly correlates with the need for your products by customers. It can be weather related, like if you sell, I don't know, snow shovel or whatever, weather is a pretty good trigger for this. But there are many others, including like job changes. There is a new VP of sales. They may switch the CRM now. News, funding, partnerships, new offices, all of those things. And even psychographic, like people talk openly about their goals, about what they want to achieve, about their KPIs, about what motivates them. And this is a point where each one of you will have to think about, okay, what is the right buying signal for my thing? And you can be very, very creative here. Like think about it. Like if you sell alarm systems, you can try and sell on that all day. It's not going to work. But if you are coming after a crime was in the neighborhood, then you're likely to sell the alarm system is much higher. So the idea with this is to more to introduce the concept. I'll show obviously an example of this, but this is in general a way to think about, okay, when do I find my customers? And in this example, we monitor job changes. It's very popular and very relevant to many of especially software businesses. And what you do is you define, okay, what's your target position that you want to find? And then with a single Airtop node, you can monitor job changes and get alerts when people move into target positions, those that you defined. Again, in real life, the documentation is taking a lot more space than the agent itself. This is it. And again, a very simple natural language description of what we're trying to do. This is a list of job changes, extract 5, and classify them based on what I care about. So again,
give you a question on this one. Amir, what is the URL? Like catch up job changes?
Yeah. So each one of us has a stream of announcements from the community. It's not just announcement. Like every job change in your community is actually announced automatically. So you just put a monitor on this one, and you know when to approach the right person.
All right, learned something today. Very good.
Yeah.
Have a good
Um, okay. Um, so
Any questions from the audience on this use case? So that's like the way you can reverse engineer, and maybe your use case is slightly different. But if there is a place on the internet where the information you need is like a log of changes, here in this case it's a job
yeah,
changes, but maybe you could be looking for projects, new launches on Product Hunt on a particular topic.
yeah,
Then you just put an Airtop agent on that feed to look at it every day and tell you what changed and only give
yeah,
you the good stuff. This is
exactly.
amazing. This is really hard to do with APIs. Most likely you won't have access to that data. You can do this with Airtop. It's terrific use case. And this is like with APIs, I find that tracking signals right on time is very difficult.
Yeah. And they're all kind of signals like there are public records of people, purchasing properties or lawsuits or
Um,
outages of different companies. Like, if Salesforce has an outage, maybe that's the time to come up with your new up and coming CRM and sell it to, like, it's just very specific to the company and the product, but when deployed, it's very powerful.
yeah. Terrific. One question from John that cannot find right now the Airtop nodes in n8n.
Is probably on top of a self-hosted, not on the cloud version of n8n. And if you're on a self-hosted and it's not updated, we are there from version 1.88 or something like this. That's the reason. But all cloud n8n users have n8n. If you are on cloud, you may just need to update the version as well. You can see it in the dashboard. There is a click to update the version.
Amazing. Thank you.
Okay. Next, tracking engagement. So people are very open, expressing a lot of their needs online. So what's better than just putting a monitor on those and get back to them when relevant? And that is, again, can easily be done with one of those simple single Airtop node automation, very similar to the previous one, but this one is actually monitoring X, or it can be obviously any other feed or network. Again, very simple natural language instructions, authentication with an Airtop profile. So you just have to put a profile name here. And the output is just the posts that you care about. And now to the evil part of the evening. If you can't find your own customers, find your competitor customers. Before that, sorry. Sorry. This is I confused two of them. So yes, you can monitor people talking, but this specifically is actually taking the comments from other posts. And this is for, let's say that you compete with another CRM companies and you want to be on top of their, you want to be in touch with their customers. They often engage with their messages. So this automation is actually extracting the posts from a specific, the comments of a specific post. So people that interact with your competitors, for example. So sorry about the confusion. Both work, but this one specifically is extracting the comments from the post, not the post themselves. Okay, so this is an X post, extract up to 5, 10 comments, as many as you want, comments to the post. For each comment, extract the name of the author, the X profile, or URL of the author, and the text of the comment.
We have one question, which I have as well from Jan on regarding LinkedIn. LinkedIn, where we all are and desperate to get some attention, whether it's deserved or not. When it comes to LinkedIn, does Airtop put any limitations in terms of amount of actions in a given period to
So
avoid
usually,
being blocked?
Yeah. This is not for scraping LinkedIn. This is not. It's first of all, it's expensive for a mission like this. Second, it's like it's not what you should do. It will get you banned. What you need to do, what you can do, is just what you would do yourself, putting on automatic mode. So you should absolutely respect the limitations. It's, for example, you can only send about 200 connection requests per week. You should not do more than that. I think it's about 20 a day. That is like the safe zone. Yeah, definitely learn about the limitations. Don't cross those borders. Okay. Last thing, and very important, delivering the right message. And in this, we're going to have another important component, which is a custom OpenAI GPT that knows a lot about your business. If you don't have it for your business right now, this is probably the first thing that you need to do, because using the general GPT is just giving you the average of the web, and what you need is a GPT that is very knowledgeable about your business and responding in a way and with the voice that you're happy with. So we're going to see an easy way to do it. And once you have it, you can start to have one-on-one conversation at scales, whether it is for outreach, onboarding, or support. You can now really have a one-on-one conversation with your customers. And the last one is my favorite automation. This one writes the LinkedIn post, create the visual for it, and saving many hours. Okay, so let's start with the beginning. This is really essential. A custom assistant that will be knowledgeable. So the way I train those is just by taking the website domain, like your website domain, and crawling it. The problem is that the assistant has a limitation of like 20 files, so you can't really send every file separately. And what this tiny automation does is basically packaging all of the content of your website into two files, one with the content and the other one with all of the links. The content one is useful because this is just what LLMs love to eat. It's like everything about your business, your position, how you sell, pricing, documentations, examples, like everything that you will let the crawlers get. The second thing is links, which is also very useful because without it, the GPT will try to come up with its own links that usually will go nowhere. So by limiting the assistant to just using links from a predefined list, you basically save a lot of frustration and broken links. So once you have those two, the other thing that you add is instructions. This is, I'll show an example, just general guidance to the GPT. How do you want it to respond? And then what you get is this, a custom assistant. And I actually have a custom assistant per task. So for writing blog posts, I have one. For just social media posts, I have another one. For writing emails, I have another one. And the reason is just the instructions are different. And it's the same two files that are getting into all of those, but in the instructions, you give information about, okay, where should I take the knowledge from? Like how to communicate? What's the structure of my response? How do you like my emails? And so how do I sign up? How do I present myself in those emails and so on? So with those two, you can now pretty much take any conversations that you have and make it a lot more personalized. So maybe I'll show this before we move on. Scrape for LLM, here it is. So it looks fancy, but really it iterates through all of the pages in your website and is writing those two files, the doc and the Google Sheet. the good news is that I don't think you need to change this one. There is nothing really that is specific for the company here. All you have to do is put the URL of your domain. The links must contain, like, how do you limit it so it will not go over the entire internet? So usually it is the same URL. So here I would say Airtop AI, and depth of 3 is usually enough. That's basically how deep do you want it to go in the website. So yeah, slightly more complex, but the good news, no changes required for to start working with it immediately.
And it runs so it's refreshing the information every day, or like
It doesn't refresh it automatically, but obviously you can put this on a scheduler. And if your site is very dynamic, then yes, you can refresh it once a day, once a week, whatever the right refresh rate is good for you.
Very cool.
Okay. Now this is really useful because now you can very easily create emails, conversation, cold outreach, like whatever you want to do, whatever types of communication, just by fitting it a little bit of information about the person. So I'll show you an example. When you sign up for Airtop, we don't ask for a lot of information. We just ask for what platform you're going to use, what's your proficiency level in this platform, and what's your use case? What are you trying to automate? And what you'll see is that it comes out with emails that are very specific to the use case, to the platform, and to the level of proficiency, including the links to the best starting points and the best automations. Honestly, if I had unlimited amount of time, this is probably the email I would write, plus a couple of spelling mistakes probably. But this is I think this is where we need to go. It's like where every customer is like its own conversation with the company, and it feels personal and relevant. This is not, welcome customer, thank you for joining email. This is like, okay, you have something that you want to do. Here is what you need to do in order to make it happen.
I have a question on how this selection of automations happens, because we have a similar use case on our website. People sign up to follow tutorials. We have tutorials for product, we have tutorials for marketing, sales, operations, and we enrich people on one side, so we can know if you are working with the CRM, we'll know that. And on the other side, I have tutorials that are more sales, marketing oriented that might interest you. Right now, all these tutorials live in a Notion database, and so we link things via records inside the database. But I have the feeling your matching works just with AI, right?
Yeah.
So you give
just with AI, of course. Yes.
Yeah.
So I think the trick is really here in the assistant.
Yeah.
So first of all, make sure you fit all of the information. Then make sure you give it like good instructions. Like those are the instructions for the specific email. And again, the list of links here, just in case, so it will not come up with its own URLs. And then it works. It's just about fitting it clean information. Like you on one end, you want to be comprehensive, but you don't want junk. Like you don't need all of the HTML tags and all of those things.
Yeah.
One, it's expensive because it's just tokens that you waste, and two, it confuses the LLM. So the scrape command is a clean scrape thing. It just extracts the relevant information.
And just one last question still on how this works. So you have the list of links that could be shared here in the system instructions, but in the vector store, you have the content of what that's behind each link, right?
Yeah.
That's sort of
If you look at this, I also have the links here. So what you see is site to file is the big file that includes everything that exists on the site. And Airtop valid links, this is the other file that is coming out from the scraping automation. And this is just the automation gallery because I have it in a CMS. I can just drop it in. Don't limit yourself just to 2 files. Like if you have other things that are relevant, feel free, like sales presentations, like anything else, because you really want this assistant to be expert in your business.
I think we need that.
Yeah, the cool thing about this is like once you create the basic vector store, you can have different sets of instructions. So, for example, you can have one assistant for customer support or technical issues, and another one for the onboarding journey. And the only thing that you need to change is the system instructions.
Gotcha. So the question on John, are these assistants and prompts available as a template? So from my understanding, assistants are proper to your own workspace. That vector store that Amir is showing here, it contains his data and Airtop's data. And that's something you need to create in the playground from OpenAI. You create an assistant, and you're going to create a vector store and send data there. And I think there was
so the step is first run this, get the 2 files, upload the 2 files to the assistant, add your instructions, and now you have the first version. And you're probably going to need to iterate on the instructions. Like you'll sit writing a few emails, says, no, I want it to be more shorter or more specific, whatever.
Yeah. Very cool. Wow.
Okay. Okay. So now for the last one. We get all of our customers from content, and a lot of them are from just posting on LinkedIn. And as you know, it's time consuming to create the content and then create the image. So I wanted to automate this. But again, with human in the loop, I still want to control the result. So maybe we'll go through like a quick demo of the results. We're going to talk in the meantime. So this automation is divided to 2 parts. The part in yellow is the one that is creating the text, and the part in whatever red background it is creating the image. One cool thing about the image creation is that it's an on-brand image, meaning it will have your logo, which is really difficult to do if you just use the image generator. And I'll show you exactly how I do it. So it starts with just a URL, any page, and you can change it, but it basically takes a URL and some instructions. Many of the posts are about automation, so I like just taking one of the automations, give instruction like this is a free template, it's ideal for marketing and social content professionals. This is pretty much all it needs to create the content. And what it's doing is like it's first of all extracting the information about the page. It can do additional research about the topic if you want. And when it's done, it is basically creating a draft of the text for the post and is sending it to me via Slack for review. And what I do in Slack, I just look at the proposed response, and then usually I don't like the first version of it. I don't know, LLM didn't fully get my thing yet. So I just give it feedback, and the feedback is high level, like make it shorter, make it less salesy, change the emojis, things like that is what I ask it to do. What a coincidence, it does the same thing, yeah. And with those instructions, it will very quickly get me a modified version. And I find that this like brainstorming loop with the LLM just work better than trying to write it myself.
You prompt your changes, and you can
exactly. What are the changes that you want to make?
Spend so much time rewriting posts or making mini edits where you can just express, okay, I'm not fine with it's too long, make it shorter, and then
exactly.
faster.
And it's it's like it's very good with following directions. So you can see it's a lot shorter. It made it less salesy. It changed the emojis. So if I'm happy with this, I can just type good, perfect, let's go. Any variation of this positive encouragement to the LLM, and then it will go to the second cool part, which is creating the image. And creating the image is kind of painful if you just use the GPT image generator, because it just will not look on brand. It just will not have your logo and so on. So what I do here, and I'll show you the automation, is I basically create one image with transparent background, and I overlay it on an image of the brand, a background of the brand. So it looks on brand. With that, I go through the same cycle of, okay, here is the proposal. What are the changes you want to make? So, for example, here I want to make it more colorful. And it will pretty quickly get a more colorful version of this image. Sometimes it gets it too literally. You can see it will come very colorful. Yeah, here it is. But again, it's async. You can do it from your mobile phone.
It will stand out.
It takes a few minutes. Like for me, it's it's a lot more simple and streamlined than coming up with my own text every time. And yeah, if you want to look at this live, this is how it looks. And this is the part that is basically taking two images and meld them together. One is from the image generator, and one is simply from my Google Drive, and it's just putting them together to create a nice looking on-brand image.
Amazing. Like I didn't know you could do that as an operation. So you're blending images basically.
Yep.
Very cool. Wow.
Okay, any questions before we start to summarize things here?
So we had one question, but I think it was clarified. So the human in the loop that you have, that you use, and you seem to enjoy using a lot, is basically an n8n form that triggers the workflow. So the notification includes the link to the form, and then you can prompt your response or your follow-up instructions in the form. It was very cool. I didn't know you could do that with a n8n.
Yeah, it is a very specific node or set of nodes, because you can select what is the communication tool that you want to use. You can do it with Slack, you can do it with email, you can do it with maybe WhatsApp. There are a few more.
Jan, you had a question?
Yeah, super impressive, Amir. It'd be great. I know we sort of touched on it in some of your examples, but to also see an example in Airtop about how we would go setting up the actions if a browser agent basically needs to take multiple actions on a page. For instance, like hover a certain area in the menu and then click and then download a file. Rather than, of course, if it can just land on the page and that's enough context. But I guess in some cases we really want to go, or we'll need to go a little bit deeper.
Yeah, of course. Let's pick one of those. Sorry. Let's go here. Let's take let's do connection request here.
Oh, you have check pending connection? I also need that. Oh my God.
Yeah. So this is, for example, an automation that is making a connection request. And here you can see how you can chain multiple actions. And so the trick with the single model extractions that I show many times here is that I use automatically create sessions. So you don't need to worry about the creation of the session and the termination of it later on, which is fine for a single node operation. But it's true, and you're right, that sometimes you need to chain multiple actions. And then the way to do it is first to create a session. Then this is basically giving you a machine. Then to create a window, this is giving you a browser. And then you can chain those by simply connecting them to the session ID and window ID that you got from the previous nodes. So you can do a click here, and then you can do a query, and it's just like they're all part of the same browser. They're all working on the same browser until you terminate the session.
And you don't recommend, so what, if you're new to Airtop and you start for the first time, but you would start writing a very long prompt with all those instructions in the
So the
same
way
step, it wouldn't work, no?
it wouldn't work.
Break it
The
down.
way it wouldn't work. So the way we build it intentionally, so we focus on deterministic results. We want automations that will work for you the same way every time, things that will be good enough for production at any company. And what we chose to do is provide developers with the building blocks and not give them like a magic box where you can type everything that you need and it will just do it. So the advantage of it is that it's very reliable. It will do the same thing every time. The disadvantage is that it takes a little bit more time on the setup phase. But literally you can see here, this is like sending the request. You click add a note, you type the message, and then you click send. And when the instruction is just simply click on send. That's it.
And Amir, are there any sort of like, let's say, error handlers? Like, let's say it's the same as when we're browsing the internet. Sometimes an error message might pop up,
Yeah.
or the right element doesn't fail. Is it smart enough that Airtop maybe goes back to the previous step and will like have this iteration, or do we need to plan that in our n8n automations?
Yes, so you can do, and it has like really good error handling. Like you can do retry on fail. You can detect errors and decide what to do on error, whether you want to continue or branch to two options. So you're very much correct that this is the web, and you need to think about error handling. But the tools that you have here are usually sufficient for handling this.
Got it. And there might be like, is there an Airtop action to like refresh the current window? So you could have like an n8n error branch that if it's error, refresh, and then sort of try again.
Yeah. So first of all, you can do the retry and fail, which will do exactly that. To be honest with you, it doesn't happen that frequently. So start without it and adapt to it as you go. Most of the modern web is pretty reliable and returns. So we see it sometimes, but it's not like a frequent issue with those automations.
Perfect. Thanks.
There was a question from Dennis on multi-page handling.
Yeah. So by multi-page handling, the question is like, do you want to do it in the same browser, or do you want to run multiple browsers? So what many people do to accelerate things, because there is LLM, it's the web, it takes, depends on your automation, it can take from seconds to minutes. But if you want to accelerate things, what many people do is running simultaneous sessions. And you can see in our plan, you can have 3, 30, 100, or even more with customers that are doing 1,000 simultaneous session. And then obviously if it takes a minute, but you can do 100 of them simultaneously, then you have 100 workflows like this finished in a minute.
Fantastic. There are no other questions for now.
Okay, sounds good. So let's try to wrap it up. What I was trying to provide here is just a framework for thinking about things. I don't think it's as is will match for every company. You just look at this as the starting point for your automation journey. But I think the guiding principles are important. Start small, build focused agents that are very simple, and make sure that they're reusable. I guess this is the most important thing, because you will need them. You will call them from many different agents, and the trick for building like complex workflow is just putting them all together, like you've seen with the one that respond automatically to expos. It's really 4 small agents that we build for other purposes coming together. Another thing that is important is just not to run to the tools, but just take a few minutes, just you with a browser, and just write the steps that you are doing. Anything that humans can do can be automated, but you need to be intentional about this. You need to be specific about this. And when you have those steps, then you can go and perfect each one of the steps in the Airtop playground, get the prompt and copy them to your development environment. It's just a much faster path than just trying to do it directly in the development environment. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. And now, yes,
Nobody told me about this. Who identified?
Yeah, 50% discount for the first 3 months. We also have a free plan. You can start with the free plan, it's totally fine. But when you decide to move to the paid plan, you also get half off. So please take advantage of this. It is valid for the next 3 months, and you'll start a timer from the moment you activate it. So it's all good, and that's about it. I'll leave it here if you missed it's 9x off.
Sorry, would you also share this playbook with us?
Yeah, I'm happy to share the deck, and I know the video will be shared as well.
The video, Jan, will be published tomorrow, right? Or we will try, since it's 9x live.
Yeah, it's published now. It's on our YouTube channel, so it's a live stream, and we'll be sending the email out again with the link tomorrow. And I think Alex shared it already here, but I can drop it in again.
It's also automated, without Airtop this time, but yeah. So yeah, we'll share the link. You will receive the link per email, I think, if you've attended the workshop, and you can see that. But we can also share the presentation with you. Yeah, amazing. There are so many use cases. Like this really got my, once again, every time we dive into Airtop, we're thinking that we're not doing enough. And this is really the whole breadth of use cases that you can't do with APIs that are really open up. What I take away for me is that a tool like Airtop is going to change how we do GTM in the future. I think I wrote this above earlier. We're not going to sit in a room and define ACPs theoretically on a whiteboard, and then a month later maybe run an email campaign and hope that we hit one person right in the that is right our ICP. Instead, we're going to be waiting for our ICP that we have already identified to make a move. And when they make a move, we'll be right here to message them about our offering or what we can do for them. And we can only do that if we can be virtually sitting in front of our computer waiting for them to make a move. And that you can't really do with APIs today. Or I feel it's a lot more versatile and a lot more practical to do it with a platform like Airtop. And so the use case, if you're in GTM right now, I think it's really one of the platforms you should explore, because it is very, very different from n8n. It's very different from Make, Zapier. Like those platforms are amazing as well, don't get me wrong, but this is what you can do with Airtop here is radically different.
I would add that from professional, what I've noticed. So all of the things here I'm using myself, and we've built for automating our own marketing. And what I've noticed is that it changes the way you think. You move from thinking about tasks to thinking about processes. It's not that, oh, I need to write a LinkedIn post. No, I need to write an automation that will write LinkedIn posts for me. And once you start to think with this mindset, it's just very powerful, because anything that you put in automation, you're just going to be, by definition, more persistent, about more consistent, and it's scaling the impact that we make with minimal effort.
And you showed us a fair amount of systems already.
Yeah, so I also wanted to point your attention to the automation sections in our website. There are quite a lot of n8n automations there, so you just pick one of those and play with it.
Very cool. We have two follow-up questions. One from Dennis first. How do you manage, or three actually. I'll start with Dennis and then we'll move it to the one that's before. How do you manage multi-client instances?
So you mean like multi-agent
I guess Dennis
environment?
is interested in running Airtop as an agency for multiple clients. Or Dennis, maybe you can. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So as an agency. Okay. So yeah, we have a partner program with quite a lot of agencies that are using Airtop with customers. So we're happy to, Dennis, just contact me and we'll add you to the partner program. And
But I
we're
guess
gonna
it
see
was
what
maybe in
your
the
customers.
tool. Do you have also in the tool a way to toggle between instances? So manage.
Yeah, you can in the tool open multiple workspaces and have different teams on different workspaces.
Amazing. We had a question from Mudit, who uses Airtop almost daily. So we got a power user here, loves it. Only issue he has with it is if something goes wrong with an automation, there are no logs for it
Yeah.
to view the errors. So what do you plan on having there?
Yeah, so what you can do right now is what I demoed before is let's like in the n8n interface, just say that you wanted to continue, but also send to the log. And what we've done is we created like a general error logger that I'll be happy to share with you. So you're gonna get all of those in one place. Just contact me and I'll share with you the automation.
Very cool. Maxi asked, can I use a dedicated static IP VPN that matches my location in Germany?
Yeah, you can do it. You can do it with a custom proxy. So there is a way for you to add your own proxy, not using the one that is coming integrated with the platform. So just send me an email. I'll connect you with Daniel, our CTO. This is slightly above my tech grade, but he'll get you set up.
I think I had Peeve set it up for me the first time. He went, where I need to do this. But yeah, I think that's all for the questions so far. Thank you so much, Amir. This
It's
was
good. I enjoyed it a lot.
there's a lot to digest. I think yeah, I think I'll be rewatching tomorrow or the next days and studying a few workflows here, but there was a lot of value, a lot of things that make so much sense if you want to scale with tech, not with people. You should still work with people, but there are a lot of tasks that can be automated, that not necessarily that you want to have people doing for you. You should have a lot of workflows. I think this won't be the last time we see you on our channel. Maybe for a different team next time, or for the
Of
next
course.
integration that you're going to have. I don't know. Maybe it starts with a Z. I'm not sure. I have no
Yeah,
information. I don't know. I'm just guessing.
sure. Yeah.
All
Thank you
right.
so much, Alex. I admire the work you do, and happy to be here.
Thank you all who stayed until the end. See you next week for a little Airtable AI fun.
Thank you,
Bye.
guys. Bye bye.